Hey there, friends of the Vault. Philip Mershon here with an answer to the age-old question, what's cookin'? Why, CorningWare, of course. In the blue cornflower pattern, of course. Do you have any of that stuff in your cupboard right now? If not, I'd be willing to bet that you have an ancestor or three who own some. I grew up seeing it in my parents' kitchen and pretty much all my friends' parents' kitchens. I never had any myself. And then about 20 years ago, I was in a thrift shop on a particularly aggressive nostalgia binge, and I picked up a 1.5 quart casserole dish. Well, I discovered that besides being really beautiful in its simplicity, it was a sturdy and effective piece of cookware. And these days, this may or may not be a view from my kitchen. I'm a fan. And if you have any that you don't want, send it over because I'll give it a good home. The Corning Glassworks Company has been around since 1851. Among their many industrial accomplishments was coming up with the heat-resistant glass globes for Thomas Edison's light filaments. In 1952, a Corning research chemist, Donald Stuckey, was working with some photosensitive glass that was intended for use in the nose cones of guided missiles. I know, right? And mistakenly thinking he had set the kiln to 600 degrees, he discovers that when he goes to take it out, it had actually been set at 900. Yikes. He opens the oven and is surprised to see that it's still intact, though it had turned a milky white. While lifting it out of the kiln, the tool he was using slipped and the glass fell, and when it hit the floor, it kind of bounced and rattled to a stop, unbroken. This thing had withstood the extreme temperature change without a problem. The incredibly durable material, later named pyroceram, was resistant to thermal shock, meaning it could go from a very cold environment like, say, a freezer, straight into a hot environment like an oven without cracking. Say, this would be perfect for cookware, the brainiac said to no one in particular. And so, in 1958, CorningWare was introduced. It was originally test marketed with a wheat design motif on it, and it tanked. But with eternal thanks to Mr. Joseph Braun, the art director of the Charles Brunel Advertising Agency, it was reintroduced with the blue cornflowers pattern, and bingo, worldwide acclaim. It was advertised as a revolutionary range-to-table product. You could cook in it, serve in it, store leftovers in it, and even reheat it all in the same dish. Oh, and for the safe, strong glass lids, they just went down the metaphorical hallway at Corning to the Pyrex division for those. Its durability and versatility made it a staple in virtually every American home, hence its popularity soared throughout the 60s and 70s. Now, CorningWare was sold in 1998 to a company later known as World Kitchen, and beginning in 2000 started manufacturing pieces in stoneware. And thanks to a public outcry, the firm reintroduced the pyroceram Corningware in 2008, which is now manufactured in France. Corningware introduced dozens and dozens of different patterns over the years between regular releases and limited runs, and Cornflower was and is the undefeated champion in popularity, but its 1958 to 1988 lifespan doesn't make it the longest running pattern. That honor goes to a design motif without a motif, French white. The plain fluted look was introduced in '78 and has been made ever since. Over the years, with the introduction of various non-stick surfaces and cooking trends moving away from a casserole-centric diet, the pieces have been dropped from everyday use popularity in favor of more party-sized serving pieces. You just don't see modern kitchen cupboards brimming over with the stuff anymore. So here's the part where I should move into a section about the collectability of Corningware and tantalizing you with the wild prices some of the pieces command. Well, yes and no to all of the above, but no, I am not dwelling on it. The great author and social commentator Fran Lebowitz, after watching an uproarious, screaming, standing ovation demonstrated by an audience at an art auction, said, "We live in a world where we applaud the price, but not the Picasso." And I agree. I collect this stuff not because it's collectible, I'll never sell them, but because it's beautiful. I have an emotional investment with the long history of it, and most of all because it's useful, incredibly useful. And once I found those dandy clamp-on, clamp-off handles that effectively turn the pieces into saucepans and skillets for stovetop use, I was a goner. The pieces I have are 50, 60, and 65 years old, and they look and perform like new. It takes a little getting used to if you've mostly cooked with Teflon or other surfaces, but I like knowing that I'm preparing my food in a cleaner, non-toxic way, that I'm not falling for the latest miracle pan that'll wind up in a landfill in a few years, polluting the ground with whatever it is they use to make it so miraculous. And I also like that I'm keeping my pieces out of the landfill because, after all, isn't that one of the joys of using durable vintage items? It's a more conscious, smaller footprint way to go. Well, that's my rant for the day sorted. I hope you enjoyed this episode enough to press the like button, and I'd like to ask you to consider subscribing. It's free, you know. And if you're in the position of having a few extra bucks, there's a Buy Me a Coffee link in the description box of this video and on the main page of the channel, where you'll also find all the other episodes. And until next time, my friends, keep your temperature set on medium low.